Chukwuemeka and Charity lived in a small, rundown apartment in a bustling city. Life had not been kind to them. They were both jobless and struggling to make ends meet. The little they had was a result of Charity's relentless efforts, working as a cleaner in various homes around the city. Despite the hardship, Charity remained optimistic and supportive of Chukwuemeka. She loved him deeply and believed that their situation would change for the better. She would wake up early every morning, put on a worn-out uniform, and head out to clean houses. She would take every opportunity to search for job openings for Chukwuemeka, always hoping that something good would come true. She knew how much he wanted to find a stable job, and she was determined to help him achieve that dream. One afternoon, after a long day of cleaning, she came home excited. She had heard about a job opening for a personal assistant to a wealthy businesswoman, Madam Ifoma. Charity knew that this could be the breakthrough that Chukwuemeka needed. "Chukwuemeka, I found something today," she said as she walked into their tiny apartment, her face glowing with hope. Chukwuemeka looked up from where he was sitting, trying to distract himself from their dire situation. "What is it, Charity?" he said. "There's a job opening as a personal assistant to a big businesswoman. She's looking for someone reliable, and I think you'd be a perfect fit for that." Chukwuemeka's eyes lit up. "Are you serious? This could be the chance we've been waiting for." Charity nodded eagerly. "Yes, I've already sent your details to the agency that's handling the recruitment. They'll contact you soon." And true to her word, Chukwuemeka received the call from the agency the following day. They informed him that he had been shortlisted for an interview. Charity helped him prepare, ironing his only decent shirt and giving him a pep talk before he left. "Remember, Emeka, this could be our way out. Just be yourself, and everything will be fine," she said, holding his hand. Chukwuemeka nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Thank you, Charity. I don't know what I would do without you." The interview went well, and a week later, Chukwuemeka was offered the job. Madam Ifoma was a strikingly beautiful woman in her late 30s. She was successful, confident, and carried herself with an air of authority. Chukwuemeka couldn't believe his luck. He had gone from being jobless to working for one of the most influential women in the city. Charity was overjoyed when she heard the news. She had sacrificed so much for Chukwuemeka, and now it seemed like their fortunes were beginning to change. However, she had no idea that this new opportunity would also be the beginning of the end of their relationship. As the weeks passed, Chukwuemeka settled into his new job. He quickly became indispensable to Madam Ifoma, managing her appointments, running errands, and ensuring that her business affairs were in order. Madam Ifoma was impressed with his work ethic and began to rely on him more and more. But as Chukwuemeka became more involved in his job, he began to drift away from Charity. He spent longer hours at work, often coming home late and exhausted. Charity noticed the change, but tried to be understanding. She believed that he was working hard to secure their future, just as she had done for them so long ago. However, the distance between them continued to grow. Chukwuemeka seemed distracted whenever they were together, and his affection for Charity began to wane. He no longer talked to her about his day, and the once strong bond they shared started to weaken. One evening, as they sat together in a cramped living room, Charity tried to reach out to him. "Chukwuemeka, "You've been so distant lately. Is everything okay?" she asked, her voice tinged with concern. Chukwuemeka glanced at her briefly before turning his attention back to his phone. "I'm just tired, Charity. Work is demanding, and I have a lot on my plate." "I understand that, but it feels like we are drifting apart. We hardly spend time together anymore." Chukwuemeka sighed, annoyed by the conversation. "Charity, I'm doing this for us. Can't you see that? I need to focus on my job so that we can have a better life." Charity nodded, trying to suppress the growing unease in her heart. "I know, Emeka. Why, I miss you. I miss the way things used to be." Chukwuemeka didn't respond, and the silence between them was heavy with unspoken tension. Charity tried to brush it off, convincing herself that things would improve with time. Meanwhile, Chukwuemeka's relationship with Madam Ifeoma was evolving. She began to confide in him, sharing personal details about her life and her struggles as a businesswoman. Chukwuemeka found himself drawn to her confidence, her beauty, and the lavish lifestyle she led. She was everything Charity was not: glamorous, successful, and wealthy. Madam Ifeoma also began to take a special interest in Chukwuemeka. She admired his loyalty and hard work and started to see him as more than just an employee. Their interactions became more personal, and the lines between professional and personal began to blur. One afternoon, while they were working late at her office, Madam Ifeoma leaned in closer to Chukwuemeka, her voice soft and inviting. "Chukwuemeka, you've been such a great help to me. I don't know what I would do without you." Chukwuemeka felt a flutter in his chest as he met her gaze. "Thank you, Madam Ifeoma. I'm just doing my job." She smiled at him, her eyes twinkling. "You're more than just an employee, Chukwuemeka. You're someone I can trust, someone I can rely on." The air between them was charged with an unspoken attraction and chemistry, and Chukwuemeka couldn't deny the pull he felt towards her. He had never met a woman like her, and the thought of being with someone as powerful and successful as her was intoxicating. But as his feelings for Madam Ifeoma grew, his relationship with Charity began to deteriorate. Charity could sense that something was wrong, but she couldn't place her hand on it. She prayed that things would get better, but deep down, she feared that she was losing her man to another woman. While Chukwuemeka was busy with his new job and growing closer to Madam Ifeoma, Charity continued to work as a cleaner. She was determined to support Chukwuemeka in any way she could, even if it meant taking on more cleaning jobs to make ends meet. One day, while cleaning a mansion in a wealthy neighborhood, Charity caught the attention of the mansion owner, Mr. Desmond. He was a young, successful businessman, and he was immediately struck by Charity's hardworking nature and quiet beauty. "What's your name?" Mr. Desmond asked one day as he watched her diligently clean the living room. "Charity," she replied, not looking up from her work. "Charity, you do a great job here. I've noticed how thorough you are with your work." "Thank you, sir," Charity said, feeling a little embarrassed by the compliments. Mr. Desmond smiled. "You don't have to call me sir. You can just call me Desmond." Charity nodded, but continued to address him formally. Over time, Mr. Desmond began to take a more personal interest in Charity. He would ask her about her life, her dreams, and her relationship with Chukwuemeka. She, being the loyal girlfriend that she was, always spoke highly of Chukwuemeka, even though their relationship was strained. One day, Mr. Desmond invited Charity to sit down and have a drink with him after she had finished cleaning. "Charity, you seem like a really good person. Why do you look so sad all the time?" he said, handing her a glass of water. Charity hesitated before answering. "I'm just going through some things with my boyfriend, but I believe things will get better." Mr. Desmond looked at her thoughtfully. "You deserve to be happy, Charity. Don't let anyone take that from you." As the weeks passed, Mr. Desmond continued to show kindness towards Charity. He offered her a full-time position as an in-house cleaner, which she accepted. The job came with a better pay and the opportunity to stay in a small guest room within the mansion. Charity was grateful for the opportunity and saw it as a chance to start afresh, even though her heart still belonged to Chukwuemeka. Meanwhile, Chukwuemeka's relationship with Madam Ifeoma was becoming more intense. They spent more time together, and Chukwuemeka found himself more drawn to her wealth and status. He began to detach himself emotionally from Charity, convincing himself that his feelings for Madam Ifeoma was genuine. One evening, after a long day at work, Chukwuemeka came home to find Charity waiting for him. She had prepared his favorite meal and was hoping to spend more quality time with him, just like they used to. "Emeka, I've made your favorite," Charity said, smiling as she set the table. But Chukwuemeka didn't seem interested. He barely glanced at the food before sitting down with a sigh. "We need to talk, Charity," he said, his voice serious. "What is it, Chukwuemeka?" Charity asked. "I've fallen in love with someone else. It's Madam Ifeoma. I'm sorry, but I can't continue with this relationship." "What do you mean, Chukwuemeka? We've been through so much together. How can you just throw that away?" Charity said, feeling as if the ground had pulled out from under her. Chukwuemeka looked down, avoiding her gaze. "Madam Ifeoma has been good to me. She's wealthy, successful, and she cares about me. I can't pass up this opportunity to be with someone like her." Tears welled up in Charity's eyes as she tried to process what he was saying. "But what about everything we've been through? What about the love we shared?" Chukwuemeka remained silent, his mind made up. Charity realized that the man she had loved and supported for so long had chosen wealth and status over their relationship. It was a betrayal she never saw coming. "Emeka, you're making a big mistake. Madam Ifeoma doesn't love you. She only sees you as an employee. You're throwing away everything we've built together for a fantasy." But Chukwuemeka wouldn't listen. "I'm sorry, Charity. You need to leave. I can't have you here with me any longer." Heartbroken, Charity packed the remainder of her belongings and left the apartment they had once called home. She went standing in front of Mr. Desmond's mansion, her belongings in her hand. She was going to move into the small guest room that Mr. Desmond had offered her. "Charity, what happened?" Mr. Desmond said as he opened the door and saw her standing there. "Chukwuemeka, he told me to leave. He said he's in love with someone else." Mr. Desmond's heart ached. He had grown fond of her over the past few weeks, and seeing her so vulnerable and broken made him want to protect her. "Come inside, Charity. You can stay here for as long as you need to." Charity was overwhelmed by Mr. Desmond's kindness. She had always been a strong, independent woman, but at that moment, she needed someone to rely on. She accepted his offer and moved into the small guest room in the mansion. As the days turned into weeks, Charity began to feel better about the heartbreak. Mr. Desmond was a constant source of support and encouragement, helping her regain her confidence and sense of self-worth. They spent more time together, and Charity began to see Mr. Desmond in a different light. He was kind, caring, and attentive, the complete opposite of Chukwuemeka. One evening, as they were sitting in the garden, Mr. Desmond turned to Charity, his eyes filled with sincerity. "Charity, I know you've been through a lot, but I want you to know that I care about you. I don't want to rush anything, but I would like to get to know you better, if you will let me." Charity was taken aback by his words. She had never expected someone like Mr. Desmond, especially after what she had been through with Chukwuemeka, to like her. But she realized that she had had feelings for him for a long time as well, feelings that had been growing stronger each day. "I would like that too, Desmond," she replied, a small smile playing on her lips. As they continued to spend time together, their bond grew stronger. Charity found herself falling for Mr. Desmond, but this time, it felt different. It felt real and genuine, untainted by deceit and ulterior motives. While Charity was rebuilding her life with Mr. Desmond, Chukwuemeka's world was falling apart. Madam Ifeoma had discovered his true intentions, that he was only interested in her for her money and status. She was angry and wasted no time in ending their relationship. "Emeka, I trusted you, and you betrayed me," Madam Ifeoma said coldly. "You're fired, and I want you out of my life, now." Chukwuemeka was stunned. He had lost everything: the job, the lifestyle, and the woman he thought would bring him wealth and success. He was left with nothing, not even the apartment he had shared with Charity. Desperate and alone, he tried to reach out to Charity, but she had moved on. She was happy with Mr. Desmond, and she had no intentions of going back to a man who had betrayed her so deeply. Mr. Desmond eventually proposed to her, and she said yes. They were married in a beautiful ceremony, surrounded by friends and family. Charity had finally found the happiness she deserved, and she knew that she would never take it for granted.